I'm here to encourage you to pursue the smile by prioritizing the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education. And today we're going to go in on that physical health piece. So this live stream, this space is called the Secret Heart Club. And the Secret Heart Club is just meant for the oddball Christians and the Christ curious to come together in a community. What's going on? Come together in a community and vibe a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And so, welcome, fellow oddball Christians and Christ curious. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And today, one of the oddballs went ahead and asked me a question and said, how do I go about losing weight? And hey, Allison, losing weight and building strength. And so I actually get asked this question a lot from people who have seen, well, you're one of the oddballs. You're the oddball in question. I don't know about the capital T, capital O, the oddball. I didn't know if it was going to be sacrilege. In my mind, I was like, is Christ like the ultimate oddball? Like, was he the one, you know? Or it's probably like the Pharisees? Were they the oddballs in the whole equation? Anyway, by the way, we're on the way to my P.O. box so that I can get my microphone, my new microphone. And then we're going to go to the store, the grocery store, to get coffee, because Costco is, if you guys have a Costco or a Sam's Club, it's always like in the middle of nowhere. I don't really want to go all the way out there, so I'm just going to go to the grocery store, which I was trying to avoid. But anyway, yeah, so many people who've seen me, I was a little fatty pants. I am 5'4", and I was 235 pounds of jiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And I was like, hey, that's okay, because, like, I'm still dating. I still have friends, you know. And then I don't know how that was actually even occurring. Not for nothing, not to like, this isn't fat shaming, just for me, I also had really thick eczema all over my face, and I had like flaky skin. So to me, when I say these things, I'm so interested in like how I was still dating, and I'm like, I must just have the greatest personality in the history of personalities, because it's beyond me how I was still kind of lit at the time. I am a talented poet. I think that played a part in it. I was always on stage somewhere, and one thing I do know is that people will always flock to the person on stage. But yeah, so at some point I got diabetes, and I went to Subway. And like for 4 months, I ate like 2 Subway salads a day. And I ended up losing, hi Katina. I ended up losing 40 pounds. And so I didn't have diabetes anymore. Obviously, that's really unhealthy. I gained the weight back again. And so at its very beginning, the first thing, I had a friend, my kid was running away, and it was like, I had never, until you like love someone so much, like more than yourself, I don't even know how to explain it, but like, she was running away, and the level of like concern and worry and all this that I had was just very detrimental to my health. And I had a friend that was like, hey, let's go hiking. And my fat self had never even considered, and I'm asthmatic. It was like a whole thing. But anyway, she started me hiking, and it wasn't that bad. And that would be what started kind of my, I didn't mind hiking. It should also be noted that I really like sneakers. I like sneaker collection. And so if you're into sneakers or like footwear, I never wanted to walk in the grass or walk in the dirt. Meaning that the shoes that I had were meant for like standing there and looking cute, as I would put it. So I was walking short distances and from the car and that kind of thing. Fast forward to maybe 2016, 2017, I got a call from a nurse, my doctor's nurse, and she said, "Hi, Clash." And she said, you have diabetes again. And I was like, what? Like, what are you talking? How could that be? And I literally like looked down, and I had a large Baja Blast, no ice, large Baja Blast, and a like huge cookie. And this is what I have, and a phone in a hand. I was like, oh, yeah, for sure. I've got diabetes again. I need to do something about this. And further, I would have to start taking insulin shots if I didn't get it under control. This was the last time with metformin. And me being me, I know I'm going to end up losing a leg or something because I'm not putting a shot in me. Like, I'm just like that. And so I knew sometimes you just have to know the type of person you are. And so I was like, okay, I need to lose weight. And so I did a few key things. And this is what I would tell anybody. If you are wanting to lose weight and you are serious about it, it's not something, because sometimes we have a thought like, oh, I should lose some weight. Like you have a thought about it, or it's like a cute notion in your head, like something you would like to do. This message is not for anyone who has a thought to lose weight. This is like, I am done. I'm sick and tired. It's go time. You're not going to like this advice, but it's what works, and not just what works for me. What worked for me, it will work for you. Ready? Number one. Number one, you have to drink, like, you want to get to a point where you're drinking your body weight in water every day, in ounces. So I'm every day I drink one in ounces of water. Don't try to tackle this. At the time when I got that call, I took stock of my water intake. I don't even have one. I was drinking one 16.9 ounce water bottle, that you just grab from the store or whatever. I was drinking one of those every 3 days. And that's just the truth of the matter. So all you do, whatever you're drinking now, just double it. So I went to 2 water bottles every 3 days. The reason why you want to go slow, you're going to live forever, or you're going to live however long you're going to live. Don't be in a rush to do this thing. It's okay. Like, you can move slow. Slow motion is better than no motion, baby. And slow motion is preferred. So first of all, double your whatever you're drinking in your water. Sometimes people are like, Lakeitha, I'm drinking that in water. How do you know? We'll go back to that. The second step is, wherever you go, no matter where you are going, park in the furthest parking space. So if you're at Walmart, park all the way dang near 2 blocks away. Costco, even better, all the way over there. I'm at the post office. I'm in the first spot. I can't get any closer. But also, like, I'm on a different journey. If I wanted to, I would park, since I'm going to the store, I would park 2 or 3 blocks away at the store, walk over here, and then walk back. Okay? And so, no, Lord Poppy, double it until your body weight, until you max out at your body weight in ounces. And if you don't want to do it, don't do it. I just want to be clear. Like, if you don't want to do it, Don't do it. But this is only for people who are ready today. You know what I mean? And that's, they don't have a reason why they can't do anything. I'm just saying, it's not fun. It's not fun. You know, double the water, park in the parking space way away from you, especially if you live in an apartment complex or a condo, all the way out there. If you have a driveway in your house, park on the street. You know what I mean? All right. Poppy says, that's why I die. I probably drink more than that. Yeah, you don't want to. So that's the other thing. And you can Google that for your own research. You don't really want to drink too much water. You don't want to like dilute your nutrients and stuff like that. You want to kind of max out at your body weight. Oh, breastfeeding. That's a different, I can't speak to breastfeed. I'm talking to those of us just got your body. You don't have another human being attached to that body. And then the third piece to that, which is how do you know how much water you're drinking? Especially if you have a water jug or something like that. How much food are you eating every day? You've got to get, here's my upgrade. You've got to get a Fitbit or some type of, it doesn't have, I just prefer Fitbits because it comes with an app. And actually, Allison, I was talking to Afton about you. I'll mail this one to you, and the charger, I'll mail it to you. The issue with it is that the screen is going dim. But if you download the app, all you need to do is carry it on you. Allison says, I don't drink anything but water, but I don't drink enough. Like all I drink an entire day is a protein drink, 2 bottles of water, no pop or juice, sometimes milk with a dessert twice a week. Yeah, get the water up. I have an alarm on my phone at 2 p.m. that by 2 p.m. I should have drank half my body weight. This is a disciplined thing. Losing weight can be hard, but it's so rewarding. So I want to go back to the Fitbit. The Fitbit will tell you, let me tell you this. An apple is 80 calories. Okay? You eat 10 apples a day, you're probably like, hey, I'm winning. I ate 10 apples a day. It sounds good. It might feel good, but that's 800 calories of carbs you just ate. And let's say you have a sedentary job or a sedentary lifestyle where you're only expending 1,800 calories a day. That only gives you 1,000 calories left. All right. I have a friend. We're not friends anymore due to, if you know me, I'm not really, baby, you need to be able to take accountability around me. Anyway, she is morbidly obese. And she was like, well, I just eat beans and rice for dinner. And that's it. And it's like, ain't no way you're over 300 pounds and all you have is one serving of beans and rice. What it is you're snacking throughout the day, and that's fine, but you have a sedentary job and you're not tracking what you eat. So you might be eating even 2,200 calories. But if you're only burning 1,800 calories that day, you're in excess of 400 calories. So you're gaining weight for no reason and you're just not aware of it. Do you see what I'm saying? And when I first started the Fitbit, one thing I wasn't doing, y'all who are on here often, you know your girl likes a sweet or two. And I was working with children. You know what comes when you work with children? Little Jolly Ranchers and little pieces of candy, and so there was a candy closet, and I would be like, oh, I did a good job today, let me go get a piece of candy from the candy closet. Except I felt like I was doing a good job multiple times a day, right? A Jolly Rancher is like 60 calories. So then we have 6 times 3, we have dang near 200 additional calories I was eating per day that I wasn't even putting in my Fitbit. Allison says, I'm still breastfeeding too, Poppy, but probably not for much longer since my baby just turned 1. Poppy says, I breastfeed till 2. Allison said, I do it till my babies wean themselves. Just happen to be they all went till around 1. I know somebody who went to like 3. But that's beside the point for what I'm trying to tell you guys. And I want to, I'm on my own phone right now. I was going to tell you, I was going to share. So here's what my Fitbit has taught me today. My goal is 1,150 steps a day. Recommended is 10,000 steps. As it would turn out, that's an arbitrary number because most of our technology comes from Asia. These are the average Asian walks 10,000 steps in a day. And so we applied it to our American lifestyles. We tend to be more sedentary with the jobs that we have. So we walk far less than 10,000, but 10,000 is a good goal to have. So my goal is 11,500 steps today because I have a Fitbit that tracks inaccurately, but it gives you an idea. 2,648 steps. So what does that tell you? Now that I have this information, what does that tell you? I probably haven't burned a lot of calories today. So let's find out more. I climbed 1 floor. I walked approximately 1.17 miles today. My goal is 5 miles a day. So I really had a very sedentary lifestyle today. Here's what happened. I burned 1,948 calories. I know, and this is further down the line, my BMR, what I need to burn to stay alive, is 1,600 calories. My goal to burn every day is around 2,300 calories, and I'm at less than 2,000. Is this problematic? Because the real question is, how much have I eaten today? Oh, it doesn't tell me. It doesn't tell me how much I've eaten today, but I can tell you because I check often. I've consumed today about 2,000 calories, and I've only burned less than 1,950 calories, meaning if I don't do something about this, I'm going to step on the scale tomorrow and I will have gained weight. I also was thinking how tasty a nice ice cream cone would be. You guys tell me, can I get an ice cream cone if I've only burned 1,950? It wouldn't be wise for any type of weight loss goals. Allison says, that's awesome. Can you put in workouts in the Fitbit app? That's a really good question. Yes, you can. Elliptical, walking, running, swimming, cycling. I personally don't because it's going to log your calories regardless. And it's just one more thing. And mine is a Google Pixel. And so it's like the alarms, I try to reduce the alarms. But yeah, you can. Poppy says, well, fun fact, Japan is slowly seeing a rise in obesity. No kidding. Our food is poisonous. But that's another story for another time. Valentina says, I don't understand anything. She doesn't understand anything that I'm saying. If you're speaking in Spanish, that makes a lot of sense. But hi, hola, ¿cómo estás? Poppy says, so does that 1,900 calories burn for the stuff that it just counted with movement? Yes. Yes. And I also don't wear my watch to bed because it needs to charge. This Pixel, I have to charge it every night, which is the bane of, if I would not have bought it if I knew I had to charge it every night. This, if Allison wants it, this Fitbit, you charge maybe twice a week, which is another reason I would advocate for a Fitbit over a Pixel. A Pixel is just like, I just wanted to be fancy. I just wanted to give myself a nice gift. And so I did, but I wouldn't really recommend it. Valentina says, I'm from Argentina, soy de Montana. You know about that? Poppy says, okay, so your body still burns calories just existing. So you burned more than 2,000. No. Your body, it's called your basal metabolic rate. That is the calories that your body burns. If you just sat like this all day and did absolutely nothing, your your body would burn a certain amount of calories. For me, that is like 1,674 calories. Now, here's the thing. That's what sustains your body. That means you have to eat at least your BMR, or you're going to have big, big consequences, right? Like by the time you're hungry, your body is starving itself. Do you know that? It's not just like, oh, I should probably eat something. It's like, no, by the time you're hungry, you should have eaten hours ago. Your body is actively going into starvation mode and compensating for the food that it doesn't have, for the energy that it doesn't have. So every day I want to eat at least 1,674 calories. And then there's more past that. Like at this point with powerlifting, prayer is and we'll get into that in a second. Prayer is a part of my workout regimen. Protein, I eat between 148 and 200 grams of protein a day, and it's hard to get down. It's like very, very difficult to get down, but that's for my own goals. So people really shouldn't do that. Like, you know, and so I'll say this, between the water intake, increasing the water intake, parking away from a parking lot for your destination, and getting a Fitbit, and I would prioritize getting that Fitbit. The reason why is if you don't know how many calories you're expending, how do you know what to eat? Like if you're expending, especially someone like Allison and Poppy with like small children, you might be expending between 2,500 and 3,000 or more calories a day. And if that's the case, you could really, that protein that I struggle to get in, you could probably step to the next level right away. But let's say you're really at the like 2,200 mark, you got to focus on your lean meats and your vegetables and light fruits, but you won't have any of that information until you know how many calories you're even expending a day. There's a huge, I'll tell you, when I first got the Fitbit, I'll never forget it. I was taking, this is crazy. This is going to shock you. When I first put the Fitbit on, the first week, I found out on average, I was walking 500 steps a day. I would park right in front of my office. I would go into my office, and then I would go home and go into my house. 500 steps a day. That's almost inexcusable. That's ridiculous, but that's the reality for many of us. And so is it any wonder why I was morbidly obese with diabetes if I'm only walking 500 steps a day? And so even to that, I started real slow. Again, do it slow. I increased by 500 more steps per month. So that first month, 500 steps. The next month, 1,000 steps, and then 1,500, and then 1,000, and then 2,500, right? And then when I started training for powerlifting 4 months ago, I brought it back down to 10,000 steps because that wasn't the focus. Strength, raw strength was the focus, not cardio. Yo no estoy hablando contigo, Lord Poppy. I don't have something with somebody, Lord Poppy. I don't know, bro. Allison said, I always drink cold water because I know you burn calories drinking cold versus warm water. Poppy says, I know I've taken nutrition. I've lost 90 pounds. Right. It's like a whole And one thing too, I knew I needed to eat vegetables. So here's what happened. I moved to California. So all of this happened 2016, 2017. Poppy says you burn 500 calories just breastfeeding. That's a fact. When I moved to California in 2018, I added three more things. So Montana, 2016, 2017, doubled my water intake, got a Fitbit, parked the furthest away from my destination. And I did that for 1 or 2 years and saw an increase in my health, but not, and just a little bit in my weight. So then I moved to California. I was still really fat. What I did was an additional 3 things. Number 1, I heard somebody say, pray before you get up in that refrigerator. So I did. And you don't have to believe me, but it worked. I asked the Lord to just give me the strength to like turn right back around. Until, hello, common sense, take the stuff out of the refrigerator. You're praying not to eat what's in the refrigerator. Bruh, take it, get it out. So at some point, I lived in a highly residential area, like no businesses. I think there was a McDonald's and a gas station. Maybe you had to walk like 5 blocks away, and I didn't have a car when I first moved to California. So, I just didn't keep anything in there. If I wanted McDonald's, I would walk to McDonald's, or there was this place called Mimosa House with bomb omelets, like lobster omelets. I would just walk. You know what I mean? I didn't keep anything. And to this day, I don't keep sweets in the house because I'm going to eat it. So why do it? Go drive and go do it if that's what you're going to do. So praying for strength, not to eat that food up. What up, David? Not to eat that food up. I did not like vegetables. And I never liked vegetables. The only reason I started eating vegetables in the first place is because I had kids, and you need to be a good role model. So I was buying like what I knew. You don't know what you don't know, what you don't want to know. Okay, you can know anything. I didn't want to know. So I was going to Walmart and getting the green beans in the can or whatever, which if you don't have another option, that's your option right there. No shade, no, it is what it is. But I was like, let me find vegetables I can actually will eat. And it turns out I like sweet vegetables. So, carrots, I like, it's not a vegetable, but I like apples, any type of fruit, I'm on it. What do you like? I like broccoli. Do you know what I mean? I like spinach. Depends on the tomato. I might mess with a little bit of a tomato. I like those snap peas, those sweet sugar peas, but I had to like search for what I liked because it's what's best for me. It was just what was best. And I want to say another thing. I'm going to reiterate it again. You can't come up the second you say I can't do this because I live with people who, one thing I hear, no shade from moms, is like, well, my kids eat the chicken nuggets and I end up, and it's like, you're in control of what you bring into your home. At the end of the day gonna end. And what you tell them kids they're about to eat is simply what they're about to eat. Do you know what I mean? And I get it, the feeling of like, oh, they like the chicken, the dinosaur shaped chicken. Okay, but then stand on it and just be like, I'm a buy it for them and I'm gonna eat it, and that's what it is. That's all I'm saying is like, stand on what you're saying. Hey, Evangelist. Oh yeah, I don't do the victim mentality with food. Right. That's what Allison said. And we do this in all regards. I had to think about something in regard just to what I've got going on with Pursue the Smile. I had to come to the realization, I'm like scared. I don't have a lot of opposition. I have a lot of support. A lot of people who are kind of like wondering what's about to happen with Pursue the Smile and blah, 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 blah. And at the end of the day, I had to come to the realization yesterday after I talked with somebody, who is just like yet another person who is excited about Pursue the Smile, the brand, yet another person. And I just had to be like, I'm scared. I have no clue what I'm doing. And I'm afraid of like looking like a fool because I don't know. And at the end of the day, so be it. You're not you people, but if someone judges me for trying, either help me or get out the way at this point. Poppy says, yeah, I get it for my son because he's in his picky eater stage, but he's getting better. He ate spaghetti today. So proud. Yeah, the kids are gonna kid. You know what I mean? Yeah, just stand on it. I'm gonna tell you this. When I was a kid, my mother would make the food and that's what you were eating. We didn't even have an option of and I'm not even saying this is the right way, but if we didn't eat something, like first of all, she would fix our plates and then give it to us. And it's like you could sit there all day. You could sit there all day with that plate, and then if you didn't eat it, it went into the refrigerator for tomorrow because you're not eating literally nothing else until that plate is cleared. And again, I'm not saying that's the best way to do it. All I'm saying is what it taught me is that the kids will eat what you tell them to eat. They might cry, but that, it just is what it is. Allison says, hi, Cynthia. Allison says, oh, yay, I load my kids spaghetti with veggies, and I make the sauce too, so I know exactly what's in it. Poppy says, I can't do that because it makes a very unhealthy relationship with food. Messed up mine. For sure. That's your baby. I'm really on the type of time. Do what you do. I'm just saying what can be done. What can be done. If you don't want to do it, that has nothing to do with me. I'm not in the business of telling people maybe like what they should do, more so what is an option for them to do. And you can do it or not. Otherwise, it doesn't really have to do with me at all. Still love you, Poppy. And a little boy. He's cute. Yeah, so I found vegetables. I prayed before I got up in that refrigerator. And the final thing, and this is, this was me being hardcore, so I understand why literally nobody I know has went ahead and did this. I started running in the morning on the treadmill. And here's what happened. My mom visited and I was so stressed. There was a gym in our building and I had to be at work at 7 and because sometimes you need something to take you there. Sometimes you need like a starter. And so I was running every morning. And then I kept being like, I had heard of CrossFit and I was like, I think I want to try that. And I'm just like everybody else, full of excuses. And I was like, I'm just going to wait until, I lose a little bit of weight or whatever with CrossFit. And then one day I was like, I'm going to just do it. Like, what the heck? I'm gonna just do it. And so I started CrossFit, and then it wasn't that much longer. I lost the whole 100 pounds and kept it off until, funny enough, I moved. Y'all know I like to I move around. You can't pin a girl like me down. And I had moved to the South, Georgia, and then Florida. And I don't know what happened. I weighed myself one day. I had me a little personal trainer. Shout out to Coach Alex. And I was like, you know what? I lost this 100 pounds. I kept it off. You know what I should do is have a little macaroni and cheese. And I don't know what the race and geographic location of the people are that are watching this, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm not from the South, but my mom is. So as a child of a black Southerner, macaroni and cheese is really, and I'm talking about the one in the skillet, in the oven. You put it in the oven in the skillet, in the black skillet. I'm talking about that. And so it just, I was in the South and it just kind of like came back to me. I was like, let me try a little. It was like instantaneous. I put that weight back on. Yeah. And so, Allison said, Laura Poppy says, love you too, girl. Allison says, my parents forced me to eat dinner when I was a kid. Even when I was sick, they stopped doing that when it all came back up shortly after. Ah, I'm interested in working out like tomorrow. I'm going to do that in conjunction with correcting my food habits. Good. Poppy says, I'll do weightlifting, HIIT, and running. Not CrossFit, though. CrossFit is too dangerous for me. CrossFit is, if you look at the stats coming out, CrossFit is a little too dangerous for many people. It's very extreme without, I don't want to blow anybody's spot up, but I've been to, they're called boxes, CrossFit gyms. I have belonged to 3 boxes. Only one of them trained you. And if you're not being trained in CrossFit, the likelihood that you will get hurt. I have sustained 2 essentially permanent injuries. I have a shoulder socket thrown out, and I have a tailbone that's bruised. Like, I can't sit too long. You know what I mean? And it's like you didn't know that. You didn't walk into it. So I hear you. Poppy says, CrossFit, I could tear my tendons and they are very thin. Yeah, there's a lot of. Allison says, so what is CrossFit technically? I couldn't give you, I'll tell you this, it is high intensity. So when you're doing your pull-ups, you're doing them as fast as possible. With like bursts. You're doing bursts. When you're doing how I bruised my tailbone, they give you this like pad that is designed to bounce you back from your sit-ups. So you're just like poof, 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 poof. And that's what you're doing. One of my greatest achievements in life, and if you know, you know, is I did 100 burpees and came in that day and I was like, oh, I can't do this. And I always tell people, if you think 100 burpees is like light work, I would encourage you to just get down right now and do 10 burpees without stopping. Go ahead and do 10 right now. And then assess what it would look like for you to do 90 more and tell me how easy, like, it's difficult. It is one of the most difficult things I have ever done, and I didn't at all think I could do it, and I'm still amazed that I did. I'm continuously amazed at what my body will do when I tell it to go ahead and do it. But yeah. And if you guys want to, I'm trying to think of how we can just do like a physical, you know, sort of thing together. Well, and there's other things just over the years that have been helpful. I have a walk pad and a standing desk. And a treadmill. I have a home gym. Allison was asking me earlier about like how to do more home gym stuff. It also depends on like what your goals are. So some people have strength as their goal. Like I could not run a block at this juncture to save my life. I used to. There was a time I would have flew down the street, but I didn't have the strength, the sheer like strength that I have now. Now I'm like a whole beast, but I can't run, or I don't have stamina. You know what I mean? And that's okay, but like it depends on what your goal is. Some women want like a skinnier physique, like they don't want to appear strong. Some women do want to appear strong, and I don't mean like me. They want to. There was a woman at the powerlifting competition, and I was like, I just loved her body. No homo, as the kids say. You know what I mean? She just looked like you could look. I think the average person would just be like, oh, there's a woman. But like, if you like saw how she was structured, and it's the way when you have a certain strength, your body holds itself. When you ever see like a muscular dude and he walks, he just walks different, it's because the muscles have structured his body a different way now. You know what I mean? Or you look at like a Marine. Oh, sorry. Marines, you can tell a Marine from across the room. And it's... Can we erase that? Can we ever see a Marine? Wow. Caught me. Yeah, you could tell a Marine from across the room because their training gives them their bodies a certain positioning, or just like a military guy, but not all military guys. Anyway, this woman was strong and you could see it. And I was like, I want to look like that. Or also, a thing, this is what happens once you start like getting fit, you start picking out body pieces. So I'll see a woman's quads, which is the front of your thighs. I'll be like, oh my gosh, I want her quads. I will tell a woman, I really like your quads. Like, you're super fit. Like, you look fantastic. One look I don't like, sorry to say, and you don't have to like everything, is like like a skinny woman's, I don't know if it's like a tennis, I don't know what gives you that look, but it's like you can kind of see the tendons a little bit. I don't know. Not a big fan of that so much, because it doesn't look like strength. It looks like starvation, and you've been like, you're trying like over aerobic. It kind of gives that a little bit. No shade. If that's, you choose how you look. There's like body comp. Did you know that? There's body comp. You choose how you want your body to look. I want abs, or like me, I don't care about abs at all. One thing I don't want are large traps. So like this right here, I don't want this to be even how my veins are started. I don't necessarily want that. You know what I mean? Like, for me. But somebody else is like, heck yeah. So that body comp is cool once you get to where you're going. But just to bring it all in, more water, get your Fitbit and increase your steps. Mainly get the Fitbit so you know what's going in and out of your body, and you have like an idea of where to start. You really can't start until you know how much you're expending, or you can just go for it. But I don't know. I think there's not any wisdom in that, And then the prayer is for self-control. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, the prayer, you're putting too much in your mouth, or not the right things in your mouth, or you're not being a good steward of money, like buying ice cream every day and they know your name and they're like, hey, Lakeitha, maybe not. Allison said, I think big shoulders and neck muscles on a man are a dream. On a man. I agree. Not on this girl. But if a girl wants to, not on this one. But it's getting there. Shoot. My husband's upper body was, okay, I'll save you the details, but on point. That's your man. My man. Do it. All right, let's go in here. You guys ready? And in the we really shouldn't be just chilling in cars. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that for people. However, it feels a little bit like at the post office, there's going to be high security, so you don't have to worry that much. There we are in the post office. We're going to go ahead and gonna get our microphone today. Ooh, bigger bucks. Oh, this mail. This mail is never mine. Oop. Scared me. I thought I was in here alone. Okay. Gotta hit the 7. You guys ready? This is gonna be exciting. Ooh. Let's see who came in here before we get to, you always want to make sure you know who's around, guys. So I'm gonna position myself near the door. And I'm gonna take a little peek over here. All right. Get the mail. I always feel like I have somebody else's. There's this lady named Clemmy. You ain't gonna get me with the credit cards. Is this some type of mag? Oh. AC. I don't know what that means. Oh, these are for like high. Oh, Ruger. Not yet. Not yet. And then Progressive. I think not. Let's take a peek at our microphone. This is it. Ooh. This is why, do you know one thing? I don't mind if people give me presents, but I'm not like a pretty present opener. And when I give people presents, I don't ever really wrap them. I just put them in a bag because it will irritate me to all get out watching someone delicately unwrap. It's like, bro, get it together. You better figure out what's in this present I gave you. Ooh. New microphone. Who this? And then we need... What? Oh, look at what's going on. All these extra trinkets. What's happening? This is the big... What? I think this... Oh, this is for an Apple phone. In case I need to use it for somebody... One of y'all fancy Apple people. Whatever. Okay. Do this. And then we gotta throw all this away. It comes with a little thing like this. Yeah. I'm excited. Can you throw a box away is a good question. I don't think they have it for a box, but I will throw... Hold on. Yeah, I can't throw a whole box away. Packages only. It's okay. All right, we made it up out of... Y'all might as well just come with me. We're gonna go get ourselves some coffee. I wanted to tell you guys yesterday, I came up on a homeless woman, and usually, or not even usually, I never give money to homeless people unless I'm prepared to give them a Bible, to offer them a Bible, because the idea is to really give them the Bible. However, if you're gonna do like a good deed, it shouldn't really have a contingency. And it's a funny thing, we humans just kind of like do that. We're just kind of like that, like reciprocal, transactional. And it's like, if you do that, if I do this for you, then you have to do this for me. And it's like, it's a nice thought that like you get this Bible, but I think it's maybe not a good thing that like, if my heart is to offer you money because that is the request, if my ulterior motive is to present you with a Bible and talk with you and pray with you, that is my own ulterior motive. But if my primary goal is to give you money, then I need to go ahead and just do that. So if I don't have a Bible, I should still give you the money. Does that make sense? And so, because I like to be a woman of my word, an honorable woman, as I like to say, I went ahead and did just that. I didn't have a Bible, but I did have money, and some coffee spilled in my car. I even, scraped the bottom of my cup holder with like the sticky quarters on it. I even did that. And so sometimes let me tell you something. Off camera, sometimes I have a look on my face. Hey! Off camera, sometimes I cuss a little bit. On camera, I have to be mindful. And somebody wasn't about to stop for me, and I was just gonna have a reaction. I was like, "Oop, we're on camera." Okay, we're gonna get some coffee. We're trying to get cheap coffee. So I don't know why we're over here in the Starbucks. I don't know why y'all are letting me come over here. We need to go over and get the cheap stuff. The McCafe. Okay, don't let me go over to that section. Okay, we gotta stay focused. Yeah, we want the max. Is coffee this expensive? This is why we should just go to Costco. I can go to Costco and get 4 times as much. Probably $21. Let me see. Allison says, nice. Poppy says, I'm back. Was giving the baby a birth. I love a freshly clean baby hair. LOL. A clean baby is nice, says Poppy. Allison says, did you inhale them for the next couple of days? I thought I was the only one. I said that to somebody. I'm going to tell you something about me. I like to smell a baby's head. It smells good. A baby's heads. Thanks for saying that. I feel really validated. I feel like decades worth of validation in this moment. Laura Poppy said she had a bath yesterday, but this was a soak. Well, that sounds pleasant. Lord Poppy says, I want a Costco here, but we don't have one. The town's too small. Oh, we got to stay focused. There's a $14.99. I cannot believe this. you might as well get something tasty. Here's a butterscotch. Look, $11.99. You can't blame me. A butterscotch toffee for $11.99. What else am I supposed to do? This is one of the cheapest ones. All right, fancy. Okay. Are you at Albertsons or Acme? I'm at Albertsons. I feel like I was talking about something. Y'all remember what I was talking about? Oh, the homeless lady. And so anyway, I gave her the money, and she was so, some people just have a really sweet disposition. And she was like, oh my gosh, thank you. She's like, this guy said he was gonna give me a drink, but he never came back. And I'm assuming she meant...
Scan items one at a time, placing them in the bagging area after each scan.
I'm assuming she meant
water.
But even if she meant alcohol, it's just like, you see, this lady is clearly like struggling through life. I wonder if my Google Pay will... Is that a thing here? Continue.
Your total is $11.99.
No, thank you.
Please select your payment method.
Oh, you could do Google Pay. Hold on a second. I will say that's a cool thing about this watch, is that you can tap it. Boom.
Please wait. System processing.
Hey.
Please remember to take your receipt. Thank you.
And so, anyway, I drove away, and I was saying like, oh, I'll pray for you. Just looking at the normal news going on. You won't believe it. The FBI was burning meth in the animal control building. Like, what? What kind of Montucky? Like, why would you be like... And then somebody, like, called the police. It's like, bro, it is the police burning the meth in the animal control incinerator where they cremate the animals. It's like, whoa. Why are we like this as humans? Why? This? But anyway, I was driving off, and lady, I was like, oh, I'll pray for you, and she was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And she said something that stuck with me, obviously, because I'm telling you, over a day later. Ooh. Gotta watch yourself. These people are crazy. Do you know that there have been four people, all white males, that are facing federal charges in the last 2 days since Charlie Kirk's death? And all of these 4 charges, the reason why they're significant, are death threats, or attempts on black people specifically, or black institutions. And that is crazy. That is wild. And one thing, I was going to make a video about it, but I don't know what it means. And I bet Ben knows what it means. Not because Ben's a racist, but because Ben's really smart. But the flag, I think it's about the 13 colonies, like the American flag with the circles, the circles of stars. I have seen a pretty noticeable increase of that flag being flown on cars, and since I do Uber, on homes, since the Charlie Kirk thing. I just don't know if it's the 13 colonies. Is it just like a patriotic thing? Is it like a racist thing? I don't know. But my whole point is like there's wisdom in these times of me living in Montana and living in a racially homogenous like area. There's just wisdom and mindful of where I'm at, what is going on. Anyway, the ladies, the hell? Oops, excuse me. See, there it goes. I was startled. I'm sorry. I was startled. Yeah, and she goes, you know, we don't pray for ourselves often enough. That was her response to me saying, I'll pray for you. And she was like, I'll pray for me too. And we don't pray for ourselves often enough. And what I thought about that was like, well, I pray for myself all the time. I pray for like peace and focus and strength and self-control. You know, like I pray for me all the time. And I know you guys are probably listening and you're like, yeah, me too. Like, so what's the big deal? Or like, what's the difference? But I was like, do I ever like pray for like if I was homeless, like me praying for peace now and just living a life of like privilege and I can express my creativity freely and you know what I mean? Like there's not anything I can't do. I'm not really limited. If I need to make $500, I can go with my resources, generate $500 with some amount of ease. So when I'm asking for peace, I think maybe I'm asking for like a peace that I'm accustomed to, which is obviously I don't like live in luxury, but my nervous system is regulated. And just now you heard me cuss, right? Because when my nervous system is not regulated, that's what'll tend to happen is a little cussing, little slip of the tongue. But like that happening, I don't live like that. I'm not abused or whatever. And I just thought like when she prays for peace, it looks so different. So drastically different. And so what does it mean like to I'm gonna go close to myself only because I don't want my background to be noticed. Let me park. There's two guys online and I thoroughly enjoy thoroughly enjoy their content. One guy, people will now like ask him to dox them. So like, for example, one guy was in a pizza shop, just like nothing real descriptive about it. And he's like, find out where I'm at. Tell me where I'm at. And so the guy will like, he took like, and basically it's kind of scary when you think about it and how people have those like meta glasses, but it's like people take pictures places, right? And so over the years, people have taken pictures, in this pizzeria, and in the background, he located like, you could just say like, a flag with Mickey Mouse on it. And so there's pictures online with people who've taken pictures of right there with the flag. And so he like then hones in on that and he can locate where you are and give you your coordinates. And a guy, an influencer named I forgot. It's Jordan something, but it's so funny. He was like, yeah, I'm in Dubai and blah, 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 blah. And then he sent the video to the guy that will dox you. And the guy was like, no, you're on the corner of blah, 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 blah in Compton because of the way that the sun was shining when you did the thing. And I think it's amazing. And then there's this other guy, it's a black kid, and I think he's on Omegle. And when somebody says something racist to him, he doxes them. He figures out where they are and then tells them their address. It's very entertaining because you shouldn't be saying stuff like that, you know. However, in both of these cases with these two influencers that will dox you, first of all, it can be done, and they're just famous for doing it. Second of all, that is absolutely terrifying, which is why yeah, there's actually, you guys probably, you don't do this, but on YouTube there's a feature where you can turn off a person's like ability to track you through Google based on the things, like if you're driving around, for instance, based on landmarks and stuff like that. It's very scary. But now that I have that information, even like, yeah, this little bit behind me, this house behind me, I'm just aware. And usually I never even live stream from outside my house or make videos outside my house. I go down the street. But here we go. Let me see. Let's read here. I don't think it's racist, not that I know of. Yes, it's for the 13 colonies. Right then, they slowly added stars. Yes, it was finished in the 1960s. The stars used to be in the shape of stars. People suck no matter how you look at it. I really despise people treating each other badly. Me too. Not a fan. Not a fan. Don't be a jerk. And here's the thing, like, you just don't have to like people. Racism and all the isms, like, they are a thing. I'm actually not sure what the solution is, because secret societies will continue to exist. And if you have friends that are like racist, or like you don't say it, then they also like it, that's also how it's perpetuated. And I don't think people understand that. So for instance, in the church environment, a common joke people think is really funny, but it's really overplayed, is like, oh, LGBT ABCD 123 club. And it's like, no, bro, that's like disrespectful. You know, it's LGBT. Or even when I interviewed the queer advocate lady, I stumbled over it and I was like, I don't mean to be disrespectful. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I clearly like tripped over it, but to be like intentionally disrespectful toward somebody when, like, you know, it's just like, just say what you're trying to say. I don't like them. I don't mess with them. I think it's gross. Or like, just say what you're trying to say if you're going to try to make a joke about it. And I'm always going to bring it back to the church, because that's where I would like to be, is don't co-sign that stuff in your fellowship. If you see, I don't know what I don't think it's like homophobia. I think that's another story for another time. I don't think people are scared of gay people at all. I think they used to be. I think people are like annoyed now, if anything, or like, anyway, like, there's just got to be a different approach. And it's like, what would Jesus do? And it definitely wouldn't be like mocking gay people. Like, did he mock the Pharisees? Or, you know, or it wouldn't even really be the Pharisees. It would be like the tax collectors. He would be like trying to point them. Do you know what I mean? Like, he wouldn't have an aversion to like hanging out with like a trans person, but he would just have the intention of pointing them to God. But he wouldn't be like, you should be punched in the face. Do you know what I mean? And I think we're missing that. And another thing I was thinking, I'll leave you guys alone after this, but a thought I had today was about being conservative in belief and then conservative in identity. And I think conservative in belief and like ideology, conservative ideology is more closely aligned with the Bible, but it's also attached to an economic stance. And then conservative as an identity is not necessarily at all tied to Christianity. Like when people say I'm a conservative, there's nothing in me that's like, oh, you're also a Christian. I think conservative as an identity, which is why I tend to use the verbiage I'm conservative leaning or something like that. But like conservative as an identity largely practices legalism. Like, I am this person, you are not this person. You are my enemy. When we start doing that, that's a lot of like right, left, conservative, liberal. Stay away from that stuff, guys. Who are you? You're a Christian. Remember that. All this Charlie Kirk stuff, all these death threat, whatever, LGBT, whatever. You're better. It's not even you're better than that. It's just like you're a Christian. Love your enemies. I'm so grateful. There's this news. Check out The Pour Over. The Pour Over. It's true Christian news. It is the news filtered through a biblical, not even a Christian, through a biblical lens. The Pour Over. Someone from my church introduced me to it. I won't watch any other kind of news. And in relation to the Charlie Kirk thing, do you know what they said? They didn't even print the news today. It was scripture and tutelage on how to love your enemies. And that's what we should be doing right now. Not, oh, you MAGA, you. It's so stupid. Like, sometimes I think, and this is, I don't know how much into this you guys are, but it's like it's like they're trying to confuse you guys, and like people fall for it every day. Whenever, just keep this in mind, and I'm gonna go. Whenever you see something, because it looks a little creepy. Whenever you see something in the news and it makes you feel something, especially if it makes you feel mad against another person, you're like literally being controlled. And that's their point. I hate to tell you, like, and I guess that's all I'll say about it. You got to find out on your own. But I looked at the Charlie Kirk thing. I felt a thing. I felt a thing against the other people. And then I was like, wait a minute. And you guys find out for yourselves what that wait a minute is. But stay in your word. Your word tells you to love people, whether you agree with them or not. Period. I am ThreePlusKei. No one should get killed. Yeah, but people... The thing is, yes, no one should get killed. However, when your person, not you, Allison, when our person gets killed, when somebody we like gets killed, we're saddened and hurt and ready to fight. When other people who we don't feel a connection to, they also get killed and we don't feel saddened and hurt. We should But we should really take pause as to why it's okay. Like, one person gets killed and we're like, boo you. The other person gets killed and we're like, I could see why that happened. You know? That's all I'm saying. And we, like, it's human nature. We're tribalists. So, like, somebody down the street dies. I don't really care. My neighbor dies. All of a sudden I care. That's normal and natural, but that's not like what Jesus would do. That's all I'm saying. And I, for myself, am deconstructing that because I don't think it's okay. You know, for instance, if you had like, there's a trans activist, and the only reason I know this is because she was on a middle ground. There's a trans activist, or he is kind of like a buff dude named Blessing or Blossom or something. And it's like this: if Blossom was killed, being a pillar of the trans community, so many people would be upset. But you cannot tell me that conservatives would not be happy about it. All I'm saying is, like, we need to think about these things and how we're being controlled. You know, like, we gotta think about it. I could tell you, if Blossom or Blessing, whatever her name is, if she got assassinated, I probably wouldn't care. Why? Because it's like, yeah, I'm not the only, I don't know. I don't think we're ready for it. Alice says, Charlie, such absolute BS. I agree. No one should be killed. You should feel saddened by Charlie and angry at the person who did it, though. That's very Christian to be angry at murder. Right, but his murder. So let me put it this way. The level of saddened you are by Charlie's murder, are you that angry when you hear about an immigrant being murdered? Or the black guy that was just jogging in his own neighborhood and he was murdered? Do you have that same, and maybe you do or maybe you don't, but my point is that conservatives, like, as a identity, were not upset about that guy that was just jogging. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying even you necessarily. I'm saying, like, there's a separation that has occurred in the United States. It's being done intentionally, and we're falling into it at every turn and pointing fingers, and that's just a fact. Allison says, I get very saddened by all unjust murders. I disagree with you there. I'm not like that. Not you. All of us. Not being saddened isn't the same thing as cheering, though. And that's another thing. Maybe some people are cheering. They also, I hate to say it, they have the right to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, in our country, and I want to be so clear. I'm not saying it's right. But they have the right. And across American history, public figures being assassinated have been celebrated across our whole history, in newspapers and on social media. It just has been. You have the right to say, I did not like that person and I'm happy about it. I'm not saying, again, that it's a good thing, but you just do. Like, I'm sure if Obama had gotten assassinated, many people would have celebrated. I'm positive. And Allison says, no, when I said earlier that I hate people treating each other badly, I meant that sincerely, across the board, regardless of if I know the person or not. Poppy says, I think it would be fun to have a voice conversation with the three of us. Oh my gosh, so I know. Oh my gosh. We need to, Ben suggested StreamYard, And so my thought with StreamYard was, can it stream to Rumble, which somebody requested? Can it stream to Rumble easily? And can it stream to YouTube? And as of last week, I learned yes. So that is something that is not only on the board for consideration, but because I want to maintain the YouTube channel, that was my concern, was going over to StreamYard and doing like yet another thing. But StreamYard, us talking all together, will translate. It'll just air live like that onto YouTube, and then people can comment on the live stream of the StreamYard on YouTube. I think that is brilliant. I think that's the next step in getting the Secret Heart Club together. I am a little concerned about security and what that looks like. You know what I mean? Like right now there's moderators, so you don't have any real craziness. But how does moderation look on StreamYard? Because on Omegle, back to the black guy that doxes racist guys, on Omegle, there is no moderation. You would just have to swipe. And Allison says, Key, come on now. Don't speak for everyone, but Charlie's murder should piss you off. News or no news? It does. I've made 2 live streams about it. I think, let me tell you this. They're saying he's a martyr for Christ. I do disagree with that. I think, I wouldn't even go so far as to, maybe, I think martyr is a lot to say of someone. I will say, and I actually just talked to a liberal friend today that also consumed his content, because rational people believe in the freedom of speech aspect that we have in the United States. Intellectual people appreciate his work of initiating public discourse. I'll say that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. And I'm not sure that I've really like pieced through the emotions of it. I was saddened by it. I think not so much for him, but what he represented in the way of civil public discourse. And so one of the examples I used in the last 2 days was, I wanted to set up a table and do real time in public, real time. What do you think about Jesus? I have now 100% reconsidered doing that. You know what I mean? Because now we know people will kill you for doing things like that, right? That is disturbing to me. And I'll use that kind of powerful language. That is disturbing. As far as like a person dying, and I don't know that person, yet they're a public figure, and being saddened by that. If you're wanting me to say like I'm saddened more so because it's Charlie Kirk, I don't know that I would or wouldn't say it, or that I have an interest in like processing that emotion. It's more the like, oops, hold on. It's like, when my dad died, I felt nothing more than, the way I would describe it is like, I felt like a person died. And so that is sad, right? Like a person died, that is sad, right? And then like the next day, my friend's mom died and I shed a tear and I was like, oh, that's really sad. Like a person died. So in the way of Charlie Kirk dying, or a boy on the news, or the Ukrainian girl that got stabbed, or like, and me like literally not knowing them as a person, I can't say like I have the same like It's like, it is sad that a person died. Now, as far as what that person stood for, again, which is civil public discourse, the fact of the murder is very disturbing to me. And it sets a precedent in our United States that we're going to end up reeling from. I think there will just be consequences on a number of levels that he was murdered. But I'm not real big on like this person was a celebrity. You know what I mean? And if the thought is like because he's a conservative, I should feel extra. I think he had a machine behind him. I think he was a conservative, and he said stuff that I agree with in a way that I liked how he said it. I also understand that there's like a bigger machine that positions people in front of me via social media and like the content and the media that I consume, that these people are, a bunch of people that I consume are positioned in front of me to elicit emotions, which will then elicit actions from me. And I'm just very aware of that. So I don't know how much that makes sense, but I just try to be really careful about like the person in front of me. Or when you watch a YouTube video, it's structured in such a way. Like even how I make my videos, you can go on YouTube and learn like the psychology behind like what makes a really good video. And some things I avoid so that I'm not manipulating people intentionally. And some things I do. And so even when you have any public figure, they also not only learn these things, but have a machine behind them. And I'm just kind of like aware of it. So I don't know how, it's interesting. I think of like Beyonce, next she's gonna, so she did the country thing, and that was like, people couldn't even, and then next she's gonna do like rock and roll, and that's going to be a thing. And like when Beyonce was doing the Cowboy Carter thing, people all of a sudden, or even here with Yellowstone, they buy the cowboy hats and it's like all of this is put in front of us to elicit a feeling of connection to an ideal, to elicit a behavior. And who benefits from me going out and acting because I was influenced by a thing that I saw or listened to? And Allison says, it pisses God off. God hates unjust taking of human life. It pisses me off too, whether it's Charlie or Fernando in Ecuador. It's not right, is the point. Oh, well, I agree. Yeah, I agree. To me, it's weird not to feel for Charlie. I hope I explained it all. Allison said, it has nothing to do with celebrity status for me or the things you listed. To be honest, it's deeper than that. He was for sure more than just a product that died. I think there's humanity behind the machine. I just think there's more, like, I'll tell you, the last celebrity that died that I was kind of like, wow, was Nipsey Hussle. And only certain people cared about it, and kind of like with Charlie Kirk, actually, right before Nipsey Hussle got murdered, I was just consuming a ton of his content, and I had stopped at, well, it's a longer story. I had stopped at one point and then started to consume it and was like consuming it extra heavy. And so one thing Nipsey Hussle was doing was, you could buy a t-shirt of his, the Marathon clothing brand, and scan the QR code before QR codes were what we know of them now. scan the QR code and download his album. So you would buy a t-shirt that was like a $75 t-shirt, get access to the QR code of the t-shirt, and then get an album too. I don't believe that's even been replicated since, or maybe it has been since, but he was the first one of that. And so he was kind of like a genius that way of like mixing hip hop with tech and that kind of thing. And so I really felt something there. But even still, when he died, and I was like, whoa, lost a real one. It was just kind of like, yeah, that's somebody who passed that did really great stuff. You know, and his legacy will live on. You know, but I didn't cry. Yeah, I didn't cry. Allison says he's not a machine or a product. I wouldn't even call him a celebrity. He was a celebrity for sure. He's a conservative darling, you might even say. Charlie's a great man, and what he stood for, didn't 100% agree with him, but God bless your rest. See you next stream. It's okay that we disagree. LOL, I'm not butthurt about it. Cool beans. Yeah, I also should be heading in. I'll talk to you guys later. I am 3+Kei. I feel like this is the third time I've said it. I am 3+Kei. I am here to encourage you to pursue the smile by prioritizing the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education. And I'll talk to you later.